Did you know that 3 countries in Africa have the same tune of national anthems? The original hymn, Nkosi Sikeleli Africa, was written in Tosa by Enoch Sontonga in 1897, a Methodist school teacher in what is now the Eastern Cape province of South Africa. It became popular among various churches and was translated into different languages because it did not mention a particular country but just Africa. It became to be known as an African anthem and was sung in several different countries. It was adopted by liberation movements throughout Southern Africa and was often sung at political meetings of groups that opposed colonialism or apartheid. It further became part of the national anthems of Zambia and Tanzania, who used the same tune, though with different words. We begin with Zambia. Their national anthem is Stand and Sing of Zambia, Proud and Free.
Stand and sing of Zambia, proud and free. Land of work and joy in unity. Victors in the struggle for the right. We want freedom's fight. Oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God.
Zambia national anthem tune was taken from the hymn Nkosi Sikeleli Africa. The lyrics were composed after Zambia's independence to specifically reflect Zambia as opposed to Sontonga's lyrics, which refer to Africa as a whole. Following the passing of the Zambia Independence Act 1964 in the Parliament of the United Kingdom enacting Zambia's independence from the United Kingdom, Nkosi Sikeleli Africa was adopted as the national anthem of Zambia, replacing God Save the Queen, the anthem of Northern Rhodesia. In 1973, having used Nkosi Sikeleli Africa for over 9 years, it was decided that new lyrics set to the tune of Nkosi Sikeleli Africa would be needed for Zambia's national anthem. A national competition was held for the new words. However, none of the entries were deemed good enough to be used in full for the anthem. As a result, 6 of the entries were merged to create Stand and Sing of Zambia, Proud and Free, and the entrants selected were awarded prizes. The authors credited for the composition were G. Ellis, E.S. Musonda, J.M.S. Lichilana, I. Lowe, J. Sajuandani, and R.J. Seal. In September 1973, the National Assembly passed the National Anthem Act, which legally defined the English lyrics of Stand and Sing of Zambia, Proud and Free as the national anthem of Zambia. The act also made it an offense to insult or bring into contempt or ridicule the anthem and granted the President of Zambia the right to prescribe how the anthem is sung and to restrict its use. We move to South Africa. Their national anthem is Nkosi Sikeleli Africa.
Nkosi Sikeleli Africa, manupaganyisu ponolwayo, yizwa imitandazo yetu. Nkosi Sikelela thina nosapho lwayo, murena buluka setshaba sa Yesu, ufedise tintwale mathweni yethu. Usibuluke sitshaba sa Yesu.
Meaning, God Bless Africa. It was sung to close the Congress meeting in 1912, and by 1925 it had become the official closing anthem of the organization now known as the African National Congress. Nkosi Sikeleli Africa was first published in 1927. The song was the official anthem for the African National Congress during the apartheid era and was a symbol of the anti-apartheid movement. For decades during the apartheid regime, it was considered by many to be the unofficial national anthem of South Africa, representing the suffering of the oppressed masses. Because of its connection to the ANC, the song was banned by the regime during the apartheid era. In 1994, after the end of the apartheid, the new president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, declared that both Nkosi Sikeleli Africa and the previous national anthem, Die Stem van Suid Afrika, which means the core of South Africa, would be national anthems. While the inclusion of Nkosi Sikeleli Africa celebrated the newfound freedom of most South Africans, the fact that Die Stem was also retained even after the fourth apartheid represented the desire of the new government led by Mandela to respect all races and cultures in an all-inclusive new era dawning upon South Africa. In 1996, a shortened combined version of the two compositions was released as the new national anthem of South Africa under the Constitution of South Africa and was adopted the following year. The version uses several of the official languages of South Africa. The first two lines of the first stanza are sung in Xhosa and the last two in Zulu. The second stanza is sung in Sesotho. The third stanza consists of the verbatim section of the former South African national anthem, Die Stem van Suid Afrika, and is sung in Afrikaans. The fourth and final stanza, sung in English, is a modified version of the closing lines of Die Stem van Suid Afrika. Finally, Tanzania. Their national anthem is Mungu Ibariki Afrika. Mungu Ibariki Africa, meaning God Bless Africa. Mungu Ibariki Africa was translated and became the state anthem of Tanganyika. Mungu Ibariki Africa used the tune of Nkosi Sikeleli Africa with a Swahili translation of the words. It was first performed in Swahili at a ceremony on 8 December 1961 following the independence of Tanganyika from the British Empire. Mungu Ibariki Africa was composed to replace the British national anthem, God Save the Queen, as the national anthem of Tanganyika. This made Tanganyika the first African nation to adopt the tune of Nkosi Sikeleli Africa as its national anthem. In 1964, Tanganyika formed a union with Zanzibar, which created the United Republic of Tanganyika and Zanzibar, later renamed to Tanzania. The newly united country adopted Mungu Ibariki Africa as its national anthem instead of Zanzibar's anthem. Mungu Ibariki Africa is also used as a hymn requesting Tanzania to remain united and independent. Tanganyika and later Tanzania had concerns about religious unrest between Christians and Muslims after independence. This was because of Christian references in government proceedings and official oaths. The wedding of Mungu Ibariki Africa was intended to help offset this by being inclusive of the different religious views. Mungu Ibariki Africa is sung daily at Tanzanian schools, a secular issued in 1998 by the Nations Commission Commissioner of Education recommended the singing of the national anthem as a way to promote patriotism in Tanzania's youth. In 2007, a legal issue arose over the anthem after students who were members of the Jehovah's Witnesses refused to sing the song at their primary and secondary schools. In Mbozi District, Mbeya Region, 5 students were expelled from school and 122 others received other forms of discipline for their refusal. They objected to singing the national anthem because they believed it suggested worship to the flag of Tanzania before God. On 2 December 2010, the High Court of Tanzania ruled that the school's disciplinary actions were appropriate. The Court of Appeal of Tanzania overturned that ruling on 12 July 2013, indicating that the disciplinary action taken by the school was unlawful and stating that there was no obligation to sing the national anthem in Tanzanian law. Maboshe Nyambe and Cyrus Maboshe for Ngambela TV.